so I think we've got almost 7.
Mr. Chairman.
7 o'clock. All right, we're going to start the meeting. This meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance or of the members of the public will be permitted. Every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time. This meeting is being recorded. Within 48 hours, a link will be of the recording will be posted on the town's website or the town's social media page. Following members of the Zoning Board of Appeals are participating: myself, Brian Heath, Chair, Anna Klimas, Vice Chair, Dan Greenberg, Member. And with us tonight, we have the following town staff participating: Robert Rulli, Director of Community and Economic Development, and I saw Steve, right?
He was there.
Steve Solari, Building Commissioner. So at the start of this meeting, everyone's mics will be muted. The board's mics are unmuted throughout the whole meeting. And as it appears on the agenda, the project representative's mics will be unmuted. If the project is a public hearing, and our first and only one is, allowing for public comment, we'll ask that you use the chat feature to ask your question by listing your name and your address and your question. The chair will recognize all questions in order. You can also use the raise your hand feature in the participant menu, and you'll be unmuted when the chair recognizes. And again, please state your name and address before asking your question. If you're on a phone, you can dial *9 and use the raise your hand feature. So we're going to get started. We have on the agenda one item. It's hold on here, where's my agenda? 259 Summer Street. They're looking for a variance under section 4.2 and the tape dimensions, and specifically in relation to the frontage setbacks. So I see Larry and Rebecca. Larry, are you going to be representing the participant, or is the participant going to be doing it?
I will be representing the project this evening.
All right. So we all know this. It's been before us before. We got the new filing looking for, again, the variance in relation to 4.2. We all have the plans in front of us. It looks exactly as we kind of discussed it in prior meetings. Is there anything additional, Larry, that needs to be brought to the attention of the board?
No, I mean, just as the quick summary was that the original application was for a variance on lot 1, and that would have required significant setback reductions to the barn that was situated on lot 1, and based on the discussions with the board, it was clear that that was not a direction that the board was comfortable with. And so this reapplication is really for a variance on what is lot 2. And what we're showing here is what 2A, if a variance is granted, this is how the new Form A plan would go back to the planning board for endorsement. But basically what we've done on the lot 2 is that we've made adjustments in order to angle in the front line on the right side so that we meet the 125 feet frontage at the street, but it does taper in so that at the front setback line, there is a provision in the bylaw that says that you're supposed to have 125 feet at that front setback line. And at that point, we would have 92.2. So that is the area that we're looking for a reduction. And by granting of that relief, it would, put us in a position to be able to keep the historic bond on the modified lot 1, which would be then 1A, and that would meet all requirements in terms of setbacks. And it would, the amount of relief that we're requesting under this application is, I think, significantly less in the amount and the type of relief that we're asking for. And I just should point out that requirement of having 125 foot at the setback was the way that lot shape was kind of defined on the earlier bylaws. Since that time, the rectangle that you see that's on the lots, the 60 by 85 in this particular zone, is really the measure of what the real shape of the buildable area of a lot is. So that's by having that in there, you can see that this reduction down to 92.2 does not affect sort of the meat of the lot where actually the building would take place. So that is the relief that we're asking for, and if I go back to in our application to answers to 14 and 15, is that that we were asking why we were doing it, and we have established that the reason is to find a way to be able to save that historic bond, and it really is a treasure, and it'd be better not to have to move it or knock it down, which is I don't think that either one of those are great options at all. And as far as the justification for it is that this is really one in which it's in the community interest to not lose something of a historic structure like this, and by granting the relief that we're asking for here, we'll be sure that bond can stay as is, and its access will be through lot 1A. It won't have to be dependent upon easements or anything through lot 2A. It'll be able to come in just through the lot that it sits on. So that makes it less complicated than the previous application. And with that, I'd answer whatever questions that you might have.
Personally, I've gone through the file, everything that was submitted, and everything's in line with what we had discussed. And your statements, Larry, I agree. I believe the other board, but I'll let them speak for themselves, agree that we like the idea of no easements, the ability to get to the barn without that. The space that you're looking for the variance on was really not usable anyways. So to myself, I think it's a better result. Anna or Dan, if you have any questions or comments, I
would just say that it's clear that you heard the board's kind of recommendations and concerns that also incorporated the abutters at the last meeting and kind of the members of the public, their concerns as well. It was very clear everyone wanted to try to save the barn, but the easements was creating kind of some questions for us on the board. So I think that I've reviewed this plan and I'm satisfied with the plan as it is.
Yep, and I agree with everything they've said. I'm also satisfied, so I think we're in good shape here.
So unless Larry,
Rebecca, can you stop sharing your screen so I can see if the public has comments?
Yeah, I was going to say if Dan, if you
Sure
are any public comments related to, if you could again let us know and we will put you on.
So there is a message in the chat from Chris Ventura. Chris, if you like, you can unmute yourself and talk, or I can read your chat message.
Okay, thanks. So I'm just wondering, if this is approved tonight, does that mean it then goes back to the planning board to get further approval, or is this the final say? It is done with this approval?
To my understanding, it
The
does
plan
have to
needs
go
to
back
be,
to the planning board.
it has to go back to be endorsed for the change.
And the special permit that was granted would have to be amended.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the special permit that would need to be amended. Can you fill me in on that?
The planning board, when they approved the project, it was through a special permit. So that's going to need to be modified because that reflects the original lot line, and this variance is correcting. So it,
Okay. And so it would go back to the planning board, zoning board?
no, just to the planning board.
To the planning board. And would that be a public meeting as
Yep.
well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Do you know when that would be, Bob?
I don't, it might be on for the 18th of September,
Okay.
if that's a Wednesday. But you can check on the town's website for the agenda. But all planning board meetings are public, just like this meeting.
Okay. I just didn't know if it, because it was just a special permit, if it was just going to be submitted and be done with.
It'll be a modification, correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, of the special permit that was issued, right?
No, yeah. And in fact, there was a lot of discussion at that meeting because it was understood that we might be pursuing this reconfiguration. But we went through to get that special permit based on the previous configuration of the lot, to fully understanding that with this, a granting of a variance here would require us to go back to show them how it affects the site plan, which really it doesn't affect it. Actually, it's more positive, because I think the planning board members had the same issue about the easement. So with that being gone, I think that it should be, I think it would be a fairly straightforward amendment to the site plan that was approved.
Go ahead, Chris.
So I guess I have a question on, I'm not sure if it would be for this meeting or for back to the planning board in regard to, you know, the water and the sewer and the amount of cars and that kind of thing. Would that not be for this meeting? Would that be for the planning board?
That's not for this meeting.
That's not for the zoning board of appeals, no.
Okay. Okay.
We just look at the variance requested.
Okay, I understand.
If anyone else has questions or comments, if you're have your camera on, you can raise your hand and I can see you, or you can use the virtual raise your hand, or you can put something in the chat. I'm scrolling through, going once, going twice. I am not seeing any additional public comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I would ask either Anna or Dan if we would make a motion to close the public comment section of the meeting.
Sure, I'll make a motion to close the public comment section of this meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Dan?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Myself, aye. So the public comment section is closed. I would ask one of my fellow members to make a motion in regards to the request for the variance under section 4.2 in relation to the setback for the frontage.
So I would make a motion to approve the variance request under 4.2 as it pertains to 259 Summer Street or 0 Leonard Street, Lot 2A, giving a variance of 32.8.
Do you have a second, Dan?
I will second.
All in favor? Dan?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Myself, aye. The motion is passed and the variance is granted.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much to the board.
Yeah, and thank you. We appreciate it.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so the only other thing on the agenda is the minutes, which we don't have. So at this time, we could
I would go to item 4.
item
Make a motion to adjourn?
4.
I'll second.
Minutes. Wow. All in favor? Dan?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Steve, Bob, pleasure seeing you.
Likewise. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Good night.